start for Manchester United. The media haven't covered this. We've had the pleasure of enjoying. You see the boys over to the right there, Rio and Max.
Sorry,
you got the dog in.
I'm being attacked.
and Max Dowman, incredible talent. We can't believe the age that these kids are coming through at. We got Dowman, who's won the penalty, amazing cameo, looks a superb player. Rio scores, goes on in the 100th minute, scores an incredible goal. I mean, what a finish as well. And just to see him pull away and the celebration, and you imagine if you were his parents. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah.
But I've got something that I wanted to bring up with you, and it's a cautionary tale that's come up, and and I'll call this section "Wonder Kids" or "Woke Kids," Rooney, because I have to put this to you because I've thought about you when I was writing it. So there's something that's come up now about the governing bodies. Using Saka as an example, he's carried Arsenal for the first 2 or 3 seasons, played too many games. He's got a 3-month injury on his hamstring. He's just done 2 games in. He's now out for another 4 weeks. But the medical research that's come through and has been looked at by the governing bodies are suggesting that we now need to have some kind of management of time and play for young players. So what's come back from this medical research is that players under the age of 18 are, I think it's 36% more likely to get what they're calling growth plate injuries. And the discussions at the governing body now are they are going to have to regulate football clubs. So what they're talking about is minutes management. So there'll be a strict cap on the amount of minutes an under 18 player is allowed to play. It's suggested maybe something like 45 to 60 minutes max a week. Strictly no 3-game weeks would be allowed. It would have to be in rotation. These things would be non-negotiable. They want to move sprint monitoring into training, and they would have a tailored gym work. Rooney.
This is a proposal, is it?
This is what is being. It's being discussed. I don't know whether this is something that's going to come into play next year. But as a fan, we want to see these players. But you're not allowed, mate.
No, but the suggestion is almost the implication by that is that the clubs don't have their best interests at heart, and I disagree with that. The clubs have a depth of, telemetric. Bio information on every single training session, every single run out, every single injury. And if you go back, Michael Owen, he started at 16 playing for England at 17?
Look what happened to him.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, but got the infamous goal against Argentina, which if he adopted those rules, he wouldn't have been playing in that. Or he certainly wouldn't have been playing, or likely had the profile he did. Wayne Rooney, 16, he was playing for Everton, banging the goals in. A much bigger physical specimen. But how much of your body shape and your body structure is almost genetic versus training impaired? Because you take Rio and Max Dowman, if they're not playing in the first team, all right, if they're not in the first team squad, they're certainly playing for the under 21s or the under 18s that week in a competitive match that, yes, won't carry the same physical demands of a Premier League match, but it's not like they're going to be wrapped in cotton wool that weekend. They will still be playing. Yeah. And therefore still potentially subject to injury and strain. So I don't really get it at face value. It does feel...
but is it about, this protection? It's got a sniff of touch rugby about it. It's got a sniff of head guards for boxing. It's got a sniff of,
heading in grassroots football.
Yeah, no heading in grassroots football. And, I mean, listen, I think we all, we're probably, close to 50, past 50-year-old men that probably are, dinosaurs in this. But it is, for me, the world going fucking mad. I can't have this. Like you say, I mean, okay, for every example you could give where a player is, maybe you did get a growth plate injury, Michael Owen, because he was played too long, and maybe Rooney is a different specimen. But how far do we go, Matt? Well, I mean, you're in grassroots. I mean, if someone said Ollie couldn't play, you'd be livid.
No, of course, yeah, but there is a
case. Are you agreeing with this?
A little bit. Well, I am, yeah, because I mean, I said last week they've got all these specialists and nutritionists and psychologists and everything in all these clubs now. When I first, I mean, a totally different job and environment and everything. But when I first started my job, it was you just go about it. Now there's so many psychologists and people behind the scenes that are looking at stuff. And also in my job, young people aren't allowed to do any free weights until they're over 18. They're only allowed to use cabled weights.
Why is that?
Because of growth plates and the damage it causes to growth plates. So I've known that for years. That's been in place for years. That under 18s aren't allowed to do, when they do weights, they're not allowed to use free weights because they're too heavy and it damages their growth plates. So they're only allowed to use cable machines. But I think everyone's individual. I think because you said Michael Owen, look at the injuries he's had. But Ryan Giggs didn't have those injuries. I think Ryan Giggs had a real.
Giggsy was in it. Similar frame to Dowman.
Similar frame to Dowman, yeah. And you got Rooney. That was so. These early players, I think it all depends on the individual person, as well as scientific facts that these things can happen. I think it eventually comes down to the individual person.
But at that point, Matt, I also think no club wants to burn out a valuable asset at a young age and not see them blossom into a great career. Therefore, an external forced directive into the industry feels wrong because it suggests that clubs won't do the right thing. And I think the clubs would always do the right thing.
Yeah.
Based on
Rooney, I don't know if I agree with you, mate. I mean, we've just lost Saka. Let's assume lost another player. Madueke or something. We haven't got right. That's two of your best players. You've got Max Dowman sat on the thing. He's a wonder kid. You telling me, or you closer to home for you, Rio? Do you telling me that the clubs have got a discipline where they will not play a player when there's so much money involved, and if this kid's tearing it up?
Yeah, I mean
that's where it needs to be a non-negotiable and it needs to be controlled.
Yeah, I disagree.
I mean, I hate it, mate. You know me. I hate being told what to do at the best of times. The fact that they're sitting there telling me, the wife will tell you that. But at the same time, when we're sitting there going, I mean, is this not the lunatics running the asylum?
Yeah, but look at last year. Yamal wouldn't have a World Cup winning medal if that was likely in play there.
There's another side to this, Rooney. Is there? I mean, let's just is Rio English?
I think he is.
He's English.
I believe he is.
Yeah, so he could play for England
because he was at Chelsea.
But just hypothetically,
he's at Chelsea since the age of 8. I don't know if he was born in.
Right, hypothetically speaking, they could play for England, right? Let's just assume these kids get some games and they this, that, and the other, and Tuchel goes, all right, I'm going to pick him for the World Cup England squad. He ain't going to pick him, is he? Because he's going to go, well, they can play in the semi-final, but I can't play him in the. He can play in the first half of the semi-final. But I'm not sure he can play unless that falls on the Saturday and that falls on the Sunday. That's less than 7. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's interference in the structure of the club. So,
and also their careers, arguably. I mean, if either one of those two over there don't get in the England squad because some idiot comes up with this rule that they can't play in every game or can't play, in the semi-final and the final because they're too close together. What's that doing for the development of footballers? What's that do to football?
Yeah, it's a bit nanny state, really, isn't it?
Well, it's got to, it can't go on, can it?
No.
But it will. Disregard for Manchester United football.
The media haven't covered this.